Welcome to the Absite Smackdown podcast. We'll talk clinical scenarios, interesting Absite facts, and interesting general surgery knowledge. Now, let's get to it.
Hi guys, welcome back. It's Jessica, your host of Absite Smackdown podcast. I'm here with, not always, but sometimes, Dr. David Cashmere.
Hi Jessica. Today, I know you wanted to talk about the new Absite Anywhere. You guys were telling me about it the other day, and good to be on with you again to talk about this way of looking at how we prep for Absite.
Again, Absite Anywhere. Yeah, it was an idea that we came up with on how, with Absite Smackdown, you really can study anywhere.
You know, when you were talking to me about how UC resident staff do Absite prep, you were mentioning how really residents from a study you pulled have maybe 5 or 6 hours a day to get a lot of living done. You had it in another podcast that you did, and it really reminded me of back when my time was so limited as a resident, limited in terms of ability to study, do things like shower and comb your hair. Why don't you remind me a little bit about that? Tell the audience, what you learned from that study and kind of what you found out from looking at how residents prep for the Absite.
Well, that blog was 24 hours to live, and I did it a couple weeks ago. It's when I was thinking about time management and how we're constantly multitasking. I think at the time I was trying to do laundry and make dinner, and I was looking for a study for what I was going to write about, and I stumbled across that one, and it said in a 24-hour period that most residents spend anywhere from 5 to 6 hours sleeping, depending on if they're on call, and then they spend 8 to 10 hours in the actual hospital, whether that's in the OR or just doing patient care. And then that leaves only about 6 hours roughly a day, and that's where they're supposed to fit in study, grooming, travel, quality time with your significant other, any kind of other things, and that's very, very
Paying your
limited.
bills and living your life.
Yeah, life in 6 hours, really. And so when I was looking at that was like crazy, because with this platform and Absite Smackdown, we've made it so accessible for residents to do and to fit with their lifestyle. And we've had this the entire time, well before COVID, but I think that COVID has really, shown how valuable this is with all the different platforms. And, you obviously know so much about that because you helped us come up with all the different ways.
So Jessica, I know you were telling me some more about how you're trying to get the message out there that you can work from anywhere with the book and with the podcast, the social media facts at daily.absite.fact on Insta and all the platforms that you all maintain. Why don't you share some different ideas or some different thoughts on what you're doing with Absite Anywhere and what that new hashtag Absite Anywhere and some of the other ones, what that means.
The Absite Smackdown podcast. Visit the Smackdown at absitesmackdown.com.
Okay, well, we had talked before about the feet at the beach pics, and how we kind of liked that, and people had their books with them at the beach.
So just to remind the audience, you're saying people were sending in photos of themselves at the beach,
right,
doing things with the Absite Smackdown book.
Right.
How many of those do you think you got?
Hundreds of them. And they were my favorite because it kind of gave a glimpse into the resident's life. They have such limited time, but the fact that they could combine those two things where they're not slacking, putting all their dreams in there, but still getting to spend that quality time, whether it's with their family or their friends or whatever, being at that beach and taking it in. And I remember thinking, wow, that has to be so nice because they get the relaxation of that, but still get to study. And all of those pictures coming in just made me think, I wonder where all the places are people study at. Like, the things that we don't think of, whether it's on the commute to work or, at the dinner table, just whatever it is. And it made me think Absite Anywhere, study anywhere. So I really thought it would be cool if we start showing places people are studying. That's not necessarily what you think of. So,
Yeah, it's been great to see the engagement. And I noticed you started the hashtag Absite Anywhere, and the other one was hashtag Sunday Study. What was the other one?
Sunday Smackdown study.
Sunday Smackdown Study. Okay. So you were letting me know that you're encouraging people to turn in more of the feet at the beach pics to show that they're able to chill and relax and also get their study done. And what else were you doing with it?
Well, I really want people to send in all the places that they're studying at, whether it's unique, hashtagging us, Absite Anywhere, and then especially on Sundays, because, usually Sundays are supposed to be our, well-known day of relaxation. Not that you get that when you're a resident, but I just thought it would be neat for people to tag us and show us on our Instagram what they're doing on their Sunday, how they're spending it with Absite, and then how they can really study anywhere. That this pandemic, all of that, hasn't affected them and what they're doing and how convenient, this entire program is for them.
Yeah, when I think back on it, it reminds me of all the strange places I've studied. Beach is comfortable, but by no means the strangest. There have been trains, planes, yes, automobiles, but other weird places too. During holidays, just trying to get in that reading on like a Thanksgiving day. Usually I would end up working on Thanksgiving anyway, but just a lot of strange places. Waiting in an empty lecture hall for a visiting professor who's going to come, and you have a couple minutes and you pick your book out of your pocket, and then the visiting professor comes in and you're trying to prep the room to help them. Tons of different, strange, odd times.
The Absite Smackdown podcast is based on the best-selling review book, Absite Smackdown, the only Absite review with an entire video review course included. Visit AbsiteSmackdown.com and pick it up today.
Right, but you didn't have these conveniences when you were a resident.
And that's part of what makes me happy about it. The reason I like it is, I had a book I might have in my pocket, but what I really like about what you've done with this is the lectures follow the book very closely. I'm able to listen to that. I can do it on my drive and not be distracted by it. Not like I'm texting or anything. I can listen to the podcast to flesh out other information. And so I really have enjoyed helping make something that I wish I had. It means a lot to me. That's why I do the podcast with you. That's why I'm a little bit evangelical for the book and the video lectures. So it just reminds me of all the strange places, strange times, inconvenient, weird times that I've studied. So I like to see it. I'm curious, what are you guys going to do? So first, if I want to send you a photo, okay, I'm a resident, I took a photo of the book or me somewhere with the book, or just a beautiful place with the book, anything like that. Where do I send it? How do I send it in?
Well, Instagram is probably the best place to send it if you follow us on Instagram.
Okay, so I make sure I'm following you, and I put the photo up and I say, hashtag Absite Smackdown, hashtag Sunday Study Smackdown, Study Sunday Smackdown.
Absite Anywhere, hashtag
Absite Anywhere is the big one.
And then if you don't want to post it yourself, or they don't want to post it themselves, they could DM it on Instagram. And then I could post it with the proper hashtags. Okay. If you don't want the attention. I don't know anyone who wouldn't want the attention. But
yeah, it's just, sure. And then also there's an email address he told me. I think that's absitesmackdown@thehealthcarelab.org.
That's correct.
They can send it to. And then the other thing is, you mentioned something about like a giveaway or something along with that?
Well, I was just thinking that we could do something, the best picture of where someone's studying, do something for them. I definitely, with Halloween coming up, I was thinking the spookiest place you've ever studied.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
And doing some type of giveaway around Halloween for all the pictures of the spookiest place you've ever studied.
That's so interesting. One time I was studying outside the Philadelphia Museum of Art, and it got progressively darker. There was not a lot of light there at that time, and it got so dark that the sun went down. I kind of didn't notice, and my eyes kind of adjusted, and then I couldn't get out because it got so dark. I was like lost under this overhang. It was spooky because the art museum with the water there, and it was a cold time of year, spooky. So I remember that, and when you said, oh, spooky places you've studied, I said, oh yeah, I got a good one. So I'm sure there are going to be unusual ones, lost places. People have these abandoned places, Instagrams. So that really resonated with me, because I remember a time where I was like, oh my God, no one would find me here. So there are all kinds of stories like that.
So the price hasn't been decided for that yet, but I do definitely want to get that going here shortly. The spookiest place you've studied, or the...
Okay, so you feel like maybe once a month, and it would be access to the next, I think you mentioned it would be like the next edition of the book would be free to whoever you draw out monthly as the best photo, which I think is probably a great idea. I mean, we'll see whatever you guys decide, but I thought that was a super cool way to do it. And it would help me if I were a resident staff wanted to send this in, so that was cool. Okay, well, I really appreciate it. I think what you guys have been doing with this book were great. I remember as I was sitting there typing it kind of day after day that I was hoping it would get to where it is. So I can't thank you and the team enough. It's been super cool to see, and the whole publishing company's been great about it. So any opportunity we have to get it out there to the resident staff, I really value. So I do appreciate you all doing it, and I'm really looking forward to continuing the Absite Anywhere thing. I thought that drone photo over that South Padre Island with the video was really cool, and I've seen some of the other ones that are coming, so it's really cool to see.
Yeah, I'm just happy that we can execute your vision and that we're going the direction that you originally thought, and yeah, it's exciting.
I'm looking forward to it. I think that since this time I've been asking you the questions, which is a little bit unusual, I'll close up with some of the typical stuff you say, which is remember to follow on Instagram. That's at daily.absite.fact. It has a daily fact straight from the Absite Smackdown book, which is very testable Absite fact every day. It's at Absite Smackdown on LinkedIn. It's absitesmackdown.com on the web. And on SoundCloud, it's the Absite Smackdown podcast. Now, of course, in every one of the blog entries, whether that's on LinkedIn with your account, Jessica, or the Absite Smackdown page, there are links in those entries that allow you to link to any of the social media accounts. So the links are everywhere. Remember, everybody, there are free online reviews that require really nothing on your part. The thyroid one is up. The adrenal one are up. Some high yield ones are up. And we hope everybody takes advantage of it all and uses it. And of course, best of luck in your studying. So with that, Jessica, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Dr. David. And remember, #Absite Smackdown.
Thanks for listening to the Absite Smackdown podcast. Visit us at absitesmackdown.com for more great Absite facts.